Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Alexandru. In today's clip we will talk about, where did gold come from on Earth? What does raw gold look like in nature? Where does it come from and how is it formed? Comes in gold. None of the scientists still can say with certainty where the gold on Earth came from. The origin of gold is a question that worries many, because if you know how this precious metal appeared, it will be possible to synthesize it artificially in laboratories, recreating special conditions. But for now, this process remains a mystery, and for many years alchemists have been trying to invent something that would affect the possibility of obtaining gold from another metal. Of course, scientists continue to search for answers. There are many versions of the origin of gold. Each of them has not only advantages, but also some inaccuracies or the impossibility of testing the hypothesis, which makes the theory imperfect. Despite the high technology of our time, scientists will continue to try to reach a consensus on this issue for a long time. Gold and stones, however. Some facts about gold are still known. The amount of gold and its reserves on Earth was calculated. It is known that, in total, as many tons of metal were mined as iron. This, by the way, is the next question that interests people so little. The answer to this may be the theory that all the gold has already been formed, and no new suitable conditions are awaited for its appearance on Earth. Theories about the origin of gold at this stage. Geophysicists and astrophysicists deal with the origin of gold. Some popular theories about where gold came from on Earth. The theory of nuclear fusion of gold was presented by astrophysicists. Gold is said to form as a result of the powerful thermonuclear reactions of stars in the universe. In the cores of the stars themselves, gold cannot form because it has a large atomic mass, but in the collision of two neutron stars, metal formation is quite possible, because when a single supernova explodes, the neutron concentration is low for the formation of this material. Gamma radiation bursts during neutron star collisions give rise to heavy metals, including gold. The matter, which is formed during the collision and explosion of two celestial bodies, is thrown into space, where it cools and triggers a cascade of nuclear reactions. The substance continues to spread in space and becomes the basis for the formation of new heavenly bodies, planets. The problem of the presence of gold not only in the core of the planet, but also in the crust remained unsolved. Scientists explain this phenomenon by the fact that, millions of years ago, metal particles fell to Earth during its bombardment by neutron stars. Gold, along with other heavy metals, became the basis of the core, and small particles remained in the mantle zone. Now the bombardment process has stopped, the nucleus is formed, and consequently the gold no longer appears. This theory has received the most support from scientists because the studies that have been conducted have been scientifically confirmed. Scientists explain this phenomenon by the fact that, millions of years ago, metal particles fell to Earth during its bombardment by neutron stars. Gold, along with other heavy metals, became the basis of the core, and small particles remained in the mantle zone. Now the bombardment process has stopped, the nucleus is formed, and consequently the gold no longer appears. This theory has received the most support from scientists because the studies that have been conducted have been scientifically confirmed. Scientists explain this phenomenon by the fact that, millions of years ago, metal particles fell to Earth during its bombardment by neutron stars. Gold, along with other heavy metals, became the basis of the core, and small particles remained in the mantle zone. Now the bombardment process has stopped, the nucleus is formed, and consequently the gold no longer appears. This theory has received the most support from scientists because the studies that have been conducted have been scientifically confirmed. The core is formed, and consequently the gold no longer appears. This theory has received the most support from scientists because the studies that have been conducted have been scientifically confirmed. The core is formed and consequently the gold no longer appears. This theory has received the most support from scientists because the studies that have been conducted have been scientifically confirmed. The second theory of where the gold on Earth might come from is also related to space, but has some differences. Scientists believe that gold came to Earth due to meteorite attack after the main formation of the planet. This explains the fact that gold deposits are found only in certain places, and are not evenly distributed throughout the crust. It is precisely the uneven metal content of the mantle that gives this theory its edge. Because if the gold were to hit the Earth during the formation period, then it would be distributed evenly, and not in separate deposits. As a result, some of the metals penetrated into the Earth's core, and some remained untouched on the surface. Recently, scientists have tried to prove that all metals came to the planet from outer space, during different periods of the Earth's formation. One of the new theories of the origin of gold is biogenic. It is based on the fact that gold is produced, or replenished by microbacteria. Biologists are already doing research in. It is believed that nature provided all the conditions for the reproduction of bacteria, in those places where the precious metal was found. This is also evidenced by the composition of the outgrowths of the elements on the gold, and the thickness of the weathering crust substrate. Gold could appear as a result of the activity of bacteria, and the process itself is quite slow. There are many unsolved problems in the theory, but it is gaining popularity, so it is possible that new details will emerge soon. Gold from the bottom of the river. Scientists also believe that 99% of gold is in the core of the earth. It is almost impossible to verify this, but according to the approximate estimates of gold and meteorites, we can say that most of this substance and other precious metals have dissolved in iron. The only place where the gold has not been dissolved, but kept in its natural form, is the core. When and by what processes the core itself was built, no one knows. Formation of gold deposits. Also, deposits of noble metal were formed in stages. This lasted for more than 1 million years. The first deposit, or area of subsidence, of gold and its occurrence in our veins is the Canadian and Western Australian Shield. This happened during the Archean era, about 3.5 billion years ago. In addition, gold deposits appeared on the territory of modern South Africa and the USA. Later came modern Sudanese gold. The next 1.5 billion years was a period of pause in pushing gold to the surface or forming it. But then the East Australian and Ural-Mongol belts appeared. 250 million years ago, deposits appeared in Chukotka, Kolyma and Yakutia. The most recent places for the formation of gold deposits are the areas of Kamchatka, Philippines. About 50 million years ago, gold deposits are formed in the process of geochemical reactions. When hydrothermal waters reach a certain depth and combine with cyanides or organic acids there, precious metal particles can appear on the surface. In addition, gold is included in the composition of the ore, or brought to the surface in areas of hydrothermal activity. More gold is found in volcanic island arcs, in the ancient faults of lithospheric plates, in old mountain belts, in volcanic belts. The metallogenesis of gold has interested and continues to interest not only commercial organizations for the extraction of the precious metal, but also people who are interested in geology and astrophysics. Alchemists also tried to contribute. As a chemical element, gold has been studied, but the causes and methods of its appearance on Earth will be discussed for many years to come. Gold is the first metal known to mankind, so, already in the Neolithic era, there were products made from it that served a ritual, decorative or applied purpose. But due to its rarity, few people know what gold looks like, in what forms it appears and how it is formed. Moreover, astrophysicists are still conducting intense scientific debates about how gold got into the crust of our planet. An interesting fact is also that a small part of gold is present almost everywhere, in plants, soil, animals and people, but it will not be possible to extract it from deposits, because it is even in nuggets as part of other compounds. Furthermore, gold is only 1/1% of the Earth's mass. Among scientists, two theories are common, which are not equally likely. The first theory suggests that at the time when the planet was just beginning to form, a cosmic body entered it, which eventually melted into the core during its formation, and from the core during volcanic eruptions and earthquakes fell into crust. This is a less likely theory, because it does not explain the presence of gold-bearing sand, the existence of gold on other planets, asteroids, in water, and so on. In addition, it tests such a theory, as well as provides evidence for that. It's simply impossible at the moment. The second theory, much more likely, assumes that the gold was already in the material from which the planet was formed. This perfectly explains why the precious metal is relatively evenly distributed over its surface, why there are nuggets in gold-bearing sand, and many other points that destroy the first theory. But in general, the origin of gold is still a matter of controversy among astrophysicists, physicists, chemists and geologists. In any case, it is formed precisely in the bowels of the planet, under conditions of titanic pressure and enormous temperatures. Sometimes it comes out of there with earthquakes and other catastrophic results of movement inside the Earth. Why is it lying inside? Due to the fact that during the formation of a cosmic body, its heavy atoms were attracted to the center of the sphere much more strongly than any aluminum, as a result of which an interesting statistical trend is observed. The deeper the mine goes, the more likely is to find gold, but at the same time, the higher the mineralization, the more nuggets found. In nature, raw gold occurs in two forms, nuggets and grains. It is usually mined in deposits. Deposits are primary and secondary, and between them there is a difference not only in the amount of metal extracted, but also in the mechanism of gold formation, mining technologies and much more. Where and how is it possible? Primary, also called indigenous, occur in mountainous regions and are associated with the activity of tectonic plates. So, for example, during a volcanic eruption, magma flows from the bowels of the Earth together with water, minerals and other elements that make up the depth of the crust. Quartz veins occur with a decent gold content. Moreover, the precious metal itself in them is represented by the smallest grains, that cannot be distinguished with the naked eye. The percentage of content in such a golden tab largely depends on the intensity and conditions of the eruption, chemical composition of underground rocks, the pressure under which the magma erupted, curing time, weather conditions, and many other chemical, physical and geological nuances. Primary type deposits can form in other ways, but are almost always associated with igneous rock movements. The development of this type of deposit took place mostly in the 20th century, when technological progress allowed people to look deep enough into the rocks. The reason for this was that the primary deposits are in the bowels of the earth and require the construction of a deep and reliable mine, which was impossible before the 20th century. Secondary, also called alluvial, are usually located much closer to the surface, found very often along the course of rivers. The only drawback is that they sometimes lie deep under thick layers of bare, useless rock. Deposits of a secondary nature appear due to the destruction of semi-empty auriferous and barren rocks. The most direct influence is exerted by various physical and chemical phenomena. Water plays a major role in the movement of gold grains and their appearance. It slowly washes away the rock, breaking pieces of solid deposits into small pieces and grinding them into sand. Gold, being a heavy and inert metal, does not react with almost anything. It slowly accumulates on rough terrain, at the bottom of rivers and lakes, in sand and so on, from where it is later extracted. Secondary deposits are much more diverse than primary ones, so, for example, by territorial location they are found not only in the mountains. It varies much more in the amount and quantity of gold mined. They have several paths of education. They can also be destroyed, allowing the gold to migrate and create new placements. In addition, placements can occur in the case of changes in the natural landscape, expressed in the destruction of root deposits. In fact, this explains their name. At the first earthquake or eruption, a primary deposit appears. The second time, the secondary is formed instead of the primary. What is the difference between nuggets and cereal, and what are nuggets? Even raw gold from alluvial deposits almost never needs to be exposed to chemical or technical means designed to separate the gold from the ore, making it much more accessible. Because of this, the efforts put into the search for grain deposits by gold miners are much greater than the search for nuggets, which first have to be dug for a very long time, and then get rid of the related elements. That is, grains almost always represent more or less pure gold, the weight of which in some deposits reaches 97%. Gold dust can simply be taken and sifted through a special sieve, and the gold will remain on it. This was the reason for the many gold rushes that hit North America, Russia and Australia at one point or another. But at the same time, nuggets of relatively pure gold are found in nature, and the discovery of large specimens is considered a great success, not only because of their high cost, but also because of their appearance and rarity. They are beautiful, miraculous works of art known only of nature, a meeting that can be considered historical. Each of them has its own unique name, and their number does not exceed several dozen. Here is a list of champions. In terms of size and weight of gold content, 1,869 Australian nugget, weighing 70.9 kilograms with a gold content of 69.6 kilograms, Holterman plate, a huge block weighing 235.14 kilograms with 82.11 kilograms of pure gold in it. Found in 1871, Welcome Stranger, 71.1 kilograms, about 30 kilograms of pure gold. Hand of Destiny, 27 kilograms of almost pure gold. The weight and gold percentage of most of history's other giant nuggets is unknown, as many of them were melted down into ingots, a process that damages such works of art. At the same time, it is observed that of the 10 largest nuggets, 6 had quartz intrusions. Where such giants come from is a mystery.